I'm Susan Malika, a member of the Mayor's Office. As you are aware, the city has engaged in a new fixed-rate cost savings program for our residential electrical energy supply. We have with us tonight representatives from Good Energy, Charles de Castella and Javier Barrios. Accompanying them is Tom Crisk from Direct Energy Services, which is our new third-party supplier. We'll have a brief presentation of the materials you should have already received in the mail, and then we'll open the discussion to address any questions and concerns you may have. Mr. Barrios is our bilingual representative who is happy to take and answer your questions in Spanish. Thank you for coming, and I now turn the program over to Charles de Castilla.
Hi, good evening. So recently your city went out and purchased on behalf of all of you through a program called Government Energy Aggregation. It's not new in New Jersey. Many PSE&G communities, Woodbridge, very large communities around here have already had these programs. This is a buying in bulk law that allows the city through action of council to go out and solicit offers to buy on behalf of all of you. This is very different than the things you get in the mail that are direct market offers. This is run and administered by the municipality in a very responsible way. They were able to get a price from Direct Energy, who's sitting in the middle of the table here. That's your new third-party supplier. That will provide about $78 a year, potentially more depending on your usage, in savings. This will be a fixed rate. It does not fluctuate. Also, the city, while purchasing, was able to increase the amount of the percentage of renewables to 50%, making New Brunswick the greenest city in the state of New Jersey, and still providing $78 of savings. Right now, you're in your opt-out period, so people have received letters. Everybody's in this program unless they opt out. And you can opt out at any time with no penalty. You can also rejoin the program, but you can only rejoin the program for the term length of the program. The program started in June, and it runs for 17 months. PSE&G a few days ago just announced its next 12 months of rates, and they're actually even a little better than we'd anticipated. So your current rate with the city is 11.3, and the current rate from PSE&G is 12.7. And that's cents per kilowatt hour. That's on the supply portion of your bill. If you are a large user in the summer, your rate from the utility will increase actually up to 13 cents or even mid-13s. So that's why I'm saying the rate of savings will vary, but the number will always be fixed. So we're here to answer any questions about what this is, how to opt out if you want to opt out, why the city did this. Well, maybe that's the city's to answer, but we're here to answer any of those questions today. Just take a seat.
It says in the literature that you provided, the price is locked in through a contract with the city and will not fluctuate after the initial teaser period. Can you define what the teaser period is? What that means?
Can I see that document? Is that actually from the... There is no initial teaser period. This is just a fixed rate. This is a frequently asked question that's...
So it will not fluctuate?
It will not fluctuate.
At all?
I think what it was referring to was that a lot of the programs in the past, people knocking at your door and trying to sell you a third-party energy program, they had it set up so that it looked like there was savings in the beginning, but it didn't turn out to be savings consistently through the program. So that's not going to happen here. It's one fixed rate for 17 months. And even though PSE&G rates fluctuate in the summer months, so anything over 600 kilowatt hours that you use in the summer months with PSE&G goes up to an even higher rate. With this program, it's steady. It's one rate through the entire 17 months.
Okay. And it also stated that if you're not happy with the plan that you, I guess, put everyone in, you can change that. And that'll be
Absolutely.
You can opt out and go back to the utility, or go back to the utility and choose another third-party marketing operator if you think that's more beneficial. But no one will have prices like this.
Is it still based on your usage, or does everybody get the same?
It's one rate, so your total dollars will differentiate between home, but your rate will be exactly the same.
But it depends on how much electricity you use. If you don't use a lot of electricity and somebody else uses a lot more, it's the rate per whatever the kilogram is.
Yeah, it stays at 11.3, and the price to compare stays at 12.7, no matter how little or how much you use.
So what is the price per kilowatts? You're saying that we're gonna save per kilowatts? What is the price?
The price is 11.38 cents.
Okay.
It's a fixed rate.
Now, you said something about 75?
$80, like the savings you're talking about? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I heard
Okay, so
that.
the average home, the average user in New Brunswick uses 6,000 kilowatt hours a year. So we just times that 6,000, that's over 12 months, so let's say 500 kilowatt hours a month.
Well, I understand it's supposed to be $100 savings.
Oh, it will, that's the annual rate. That's a very good question. Because this is a 17-month term and not a 12, we expect that the savings will be well over $100. But on an annual basis, it's about $78 for the average user.
And I have solar panels, how does it affect me?
Heather, do you want to handle the net metering question? If you have solar panels, you're only going to get this rate for, is that right? For the,
Yeah, so your solar panels basically net you out to zero, essentially it's zero usage. So it doesn't matter what the price is, it would affect your payback if you had those solar panels on. But whatever usage that you have on the supply portion of your bill, you have two costs on your bill, right? You have the delivery cost, which is handled by your utility, and then you have the supply cost, right, which is the commodity. So that commodity cost has been reduced. And so if your total bill has reduced, that supply portion is going to be less, or whatever you use it. But if you don't use anything because your solar panels take up, obviously the usage at your home, then you're just netting out to zero. So it doesn't affect you in any way whatsoever.
Another question.
How does this affect our commercial relationship with PSE&G, our contract with them? Is it transparent?
oh, you're treated indifferently, whether you're PSE&G for supply or whether you're with the city. And that's by law. Yeah.
And another one.
That's a good one.
Thanks. Is it gonna be as stable? I mean, the service providing.
You mean the cost or the physical service?
Physical service.
Has to be by law.
Or no.
No, they don't treat one home differently than the other because it's in the program with PSE&G.
But no,
Absolutely
like
neutral.
we're gonna have power like we have been.
Right, if the power goes down, it's going down for everyone, right? Whether in this program or not, if there's an outage.
What's the probability that it's gonna be like more often than it has been?
Nothing, this has nothing to do with that.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Another question. If you stay with, like you opt out.
Opt out, you go back to PSE&G.
Okay. Another question too.
That's good.
If you use this direct energy program, do we pay a surcharge to public service? Is there a surcharge?
No, there's no
By using
surcharge.
their lines?
No, you're still paying, so, okay, that's good, very good question. So your bill's has two parts. It has the supply, and now your supply will be with direct energy at a fixed rate. Everyone, whether they're in this program or not, pays for the poles and wires component, which is the transmission and distribution. You don't pay more for it because you're in this program. Everybody pays the same.
Do you still pay your bill downtown PSE&G, or you send it somewhere else?
PSE&G still provides the bill, and this is just a line item in the bill. So you don't have to pay another bill or another supplier.
Or go anywhere else to pay?
Right.
Thank you for including the one-time renewable option and being aggressive about it, more aggressive than what it stated. There's just one question from us. Is this energy being directly sourced from renewable energy production, or is it from renewable energy credits?
I'll leave that to Tom President.
There's two credits,
Through credits? All right.
but they're New Jersey Class 1 credits. The additional voluntary credits or the New Jersey Class 1.
Yeah, just to further to that, 19% is the renewable portfolio standard as of this moment for the state of New Jersey. The additional 31%, which made this city 50% and the most renewable purchaser in the state of New Jersey, those are all from local generation. Those aren't recs from other states. That's all local renewables.
Okay, my understanding is if the whole city did it, then I can understand this, but I cannot understand how if I opt out, my power is going to come from PSE&G, and if I allow this to go, you're going to give me power. I don't know how you're going to get the power into the same line, and you're going to charge less. How is that possible?
Okay, so power supply, even the utility, it's a commodity purchase. It's actually a paper trend. There's a wholesale market. So electrons are just electrons. Whether we're purchasing at a moment in time where the market was lower than the utility purchased. The utility has a very prescribed process. They purchase a third every year of what they expect they need to supply for all the residents in PSE&G. And they take the other 2/3 and the new third and they blend that together. And in June, that's your new rate. Now, if they had purchased more expensive power in the past, they're still carrying that cost, whereas we were able to purchase at a moment where the market was lower.
Now my question is to the city. What advantage does the city get for this program? And why are they asking us to change our supply?
The city gets no advantage here. The city did this to save people money and to increase renewables because they thought that that reflected the community values. So the city gets no payment for this or anything.
Now my only question is, if this is such a great thing for the city, then why is it only 17 months?
Because we didn't feel, as their advisor, we didn't want to purchase any further out because we didn't want to get into a situation potentially where your rate would be higher in this program than PSE&G.
So at the end of this program, it'll be renegotiated to see if we can get the
I
same.
understand, but it seems, all right, you know, getting old here, I just think this is fishy. That's all.
Okay.
Another question, if you have like a special program like the worry-free or budget plans, should this company have the same plan?
Yes, I'm going to have Direct Energy's head of aggregation talk about how, it's called equal payment plan.
Yeah, do
Yeah.
they have the same plan?
It's same thing.
We
It's
did.
slightly-
And it's part of the program, part of the solicitation, it was a requirement, it was part of the bidding process that we have to offer that. If you're on it, or if you want to join a equal payment plan, then we have to offer that for you.
Well, what about the worry-free?
That stays the same.
It stays the same?
Your worry-free is your worry-free. That's a program adjacent to your energy supply and delivery. That's more of a warranty program. This doesn't affect the warranty program at all.
You're looking at me? Okay.
I'm sure, well, I'm going to go ahead.
I think my question's related to the one he was asking, is if I'm sitting here and this house opts out and that house opts out, what's really happening? That you don't really know what power's coming into my house, is that correct? You just, I'm a number in a system. In a
Right,
formula.
you're an account number, but the utility and Direct Energy know who gets what price because they're,
So it's price rather than power.
that's right.
It's becoming very virtual.
When you say energy, that's including the gas?
No.
It all has nothing to do with gas?
No, and, you know, gas is possible through the same mechanism, the same law, but there's no savings right now. So we wouldn't
So you get a
recommend.
separate bill for that, or would that stay on the same bill?
That stays with whatever your gas
What
supplier
about
is.
service?
Stays the same.
You're still going to get your bill from PSE&G. That's not going to change. The only thing that's going to change is the line item that says where your supply is coming from. So it'll say Direct Energy instead of Public Service. Also, as I understand it, on the bill will be a comparison, what you paid versus what you would have paid if you stayed with PSE&G supply. So you
That's
can
correct.
see your savings each month.
So your gas and the.
Gas stays the same.
Gas stays the same, this program, we didn't purchase any gas. This is-
And electrical delivery stays the same. So anything goes wrong, a line comes down, you have no power, you call PSE&G just the way you always have, and they respond just the way they always did. That part of it doesn't change.
Okay, because of the change, are we going to get new meters?
No,
Are we, nothing going to
Nothing.
change in that work?
no, you're just gonna have a line item in your bill, the same PSE&G bill. It's gonna say your electricity supply is at X from direct energy.
Past bills that we have now that's already established, and we going to switch over in this month in June?
June, everybody's being switched. So the first bill you'll get is July.
It's
Oh,
July.
July, sorry.
It's with your meter reading in July. That's
Because
what
I
it
thought you
shows.
had, that would start on the new,
Mhm.
under the new program.
Right, at the lower price.
And the past bill should reflect on the new interest rate that's going on in July?
So
Or will it
what-
stay the same?
The meter read will start with your first meter read in July, and it'll go through the meter read in August, and then you'll get a bill after that, so that's when you'll see it.
Okay, but the bill we have with PSE&G will still stay, where's that going?
It'll still be just a PSE&G bill.
It's the only bill we get.
You're getting
So
this,
right now, we're getting one bill.
you're only getting one bill, the price is just gonna go down.
It's just gonna drop, and then whatever you owe with pump service will still be on there.
That's
And
right.
they just tack on with the new one.
Well,
Correct?
whatever you owe public service for the transmission and distribution bill, you'll still owe. Now you're paying PSE&G, you're not paying direct energy directly.
Okay, so we need to handle that, so when it takes effect in July, everything is just transferred.
Right, there's gonna be just one bill, PSE&G, and the program runs through the PSE&G bill. You're not gonna have a separate bill, it's just gonna be one bill.
Yeah, I understand,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying, we all got bills now, and it's all through PSE.
Correct.
I'm saying, you telling me in July, everything is going to transfer over to this new program.
Within the same bill.
Within the same bill.
Within the same
It'll
bill,
still be
but whatever
PSE&G.
you owe will stay at 12.7, and when it transfer over, it's dropped down to 11.
That's correct.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep, you'll see the drop in the highest usage months of the year too,
All right, that's what I mean, all right.
right? Not all months are equal.
After the 17-month contract period, do we have to go through this again? I mean, how does that work? How do we know that your rates are cheaper than public service, or will we know?
Well, you'll know through the period, through the term of this, because the price compare will be on your bill.
Yes, but I thought that you needed to renegotiate for a price.
You know, buying in the open market is an ongoing thing.
Okay.
If there never presents a situation where we can save, then this program will just go back. It'll all just be put back to the
Into
utility.
public service.
Yep.
And we won't have to go through this again.
And anytime you have a change in their program, you will get, the whole community will get another opt-out letter. Any change in price.
Okay.
So if you change contracts, because it says here what happens at the end, it says there's no automatic rollover. If the city
No automatic
decides to continue, it will conduct a new
Opt-out.
competitive bid, right? But if you get a new contract, you have the option to.
Actually, if the price changes at all and you stay with the same supplier, you're going to get another opt-out letter.
Right, but let's say if you go to another supplier,
That's right.
then you have the option to opt out again.
That's right.
That's right.
By law. By law.
Okay.
But these programs have actually been active since about 2013 in New Jersey. And most of the communities that have entered into this are still going, and a lot more have come on board.
So you say we
So they've been
don't-
through multiple renewals.
We will not go into effect till July, and you have till June 19 to opt out. Is that correct?
Yep, but you can opt out at any time too. Anytime during the contract, no cost.
Okay, and what's the procedure for doing that? Because I think before it goes into effect, you have a slip that you can just sign and they'll in.
Okay.
But after it goes into effect, what's the process for opting out?
So on the literature that you have, there's two pieces of information for you. We've got a 1866 number, and we've got an email address. You can notify us if you want to opt
So
out.
you can either pull.
Also, the city has a very robust website with all the frequently asked questions, and one of those will be, how do I opt out, or how do I opt up to 100%? Somebody was doing that. Who's that? Who's going to be 100% back there? She's already gone. She asked a renewable question and she left. All right.
That website is renewableNB.com. And as soon as you go to that website, it tells you what your price is per kilowatt hour. Will always be there. So
Can you
you know
repeat that as
exactly what
well,
your rate is.
renewable?
RenewableNB.com. It's on there.
It's on there.
And all this material will be kept on file at the city, including a version in Spanish.
There are
At all
Spanish
times.
letters up here as well.
And there are many people within both our companies that are available to speak to you by phone. If you have other questions.
What makes this program greener, or New Brunswick greener, from using public service?
Okay, so New Brunswick, I'll let you answer that one.
Well, there's a minimum requirement called the Renewable Portfolio Standard, and Charles had mentioned that a minute ago, that the current threshold, the current minimum requirement is the 19% for your supply. And in this program, we're doing the 19% that's required plus an additional 31%, for a total of 50.
50% renewable, and we're still beneath the price that PSE&G charges.
Will you purchase your electricity from within the state of New Jersey, from New York, Pennsylvania, or Canada? Because then you have the hydroelectric power from Canada. Can you tap into that?
So the electricity, it's on an open market. So we have different wholesale parties that we deal with, that we buy from. And it's not labeled as in terms of where it comes from. It's really the entity that we buy it from, right? And it could be a generator, it could be just another party in the marketplace. Does that answer your question?
Sure. I'm interested in the carbon footprint. So if we can lower it down, therefore you might change the cycle of the weather.
And that's what the intent of the RPS and the RECs are for.
So by purchasing more of the 31%, which is actually all local New Jersey, that's directly incentivizing more renewable production, because the benefit, the output of those renewable sources is being bought out. And so then that, spurs on more development. So that is local.
Charles, can you talk a little bit about where the power is actually coming from, solar generation thing? I think that's what you're asking.
So the renewable?
Yes, where are we actually
Right.
getting the power from?
So New Jersey Class 1 power, by definition, it's 75% solar, and then the remainder comes from wind, geothermal, fuel cells, hydro. There's a mix that's prescribed.
And you have more and more solar panels. I flew into Newark just a few hours ago. There's nothing but solar panels on the way down. I don't know if anybody's seen that recently.
This is a little off. October 25th, we stood in this chamber, and Public Service asked us to allow a transmission line in the village area, and they promised that they were going to reduce, because of the efficient increase in power transmission, our prices were going to go down. And the people in the 6th Ward in the Rutgers Village, we have been suffering through heavy traffic and everything with the promise that our bill was going to get less. And now the city goes out and buys a program that's going to supposedly lower our bill after we have spent almost 6 months with these trucks going all over the place for a lower bill. And now, they're going to get a lower bill for us? It bothers me extremely. I've lived in this city all my life, and I've seen a lot of things go up, and this seems like something that just doesn't fit.
So you're talking about, with regard to transmission and transport, so that's a transport company, that would be PSE&G, who is trying to lower your transport costs, right, the delivery. So this is lowering the supply costs. So remember
In all
that.
likelihood, our rates were going to go down because the bigger poles, better transmission, they would be able to transmit the electricity at a lower cost, and that lower cost would be put in us.
My point is that that's a question for PSE&G. If they promised, or I
No,
was
this
there.
was a question for the city and the lady sitting there. That was a question for her, not for yous. That has nothing to do with yous. It was the question for the city.
delivery.
What I can tell you is that the transmission costs are part of the delivery. So your PSE&G bill has two parts, delivery and supply. So if they're looking to make delivery easier, more efficient, that's one thing, but it doesn't affect supply. And what we're talking about here is the supply of energy, not the delivery of it.
I have a number of questions. Why are residents included unless they opt out? And why, by contrast, are businesses and government entities excluded unless they opt in? Why is that distinction made?
Okay, so I'll take it. So the only way that we could get, the only way that this actually works commercially, and the reason that they instituted the law in New Jersey is that to get the bulk purchase, everyone has to be in unless they opt out, or you're buying as a single home. You're not buying as a huge power user. Most of the businesses in this state are already choosing their own. They're all very different, but most of them, I'd say 80–90% of all of them, already have third-party supply rates. So the law was not, the spirit of the law, the intent was not to help those businesses. And why the businesses don't opt into the way this legislation is written is they're asked to opt in 30 days before the price is known and not know what the price is. So no business ever opt in. We didn't write this law, but that's why the businesses are not in. First of all, they're already shopping, and second, this is no advantage to them. This is written, this particular law is for residents only.
All right. How many third-party suppliers bid on this project for
Two.
the state of New Brunswick?
2.
Just 2 bid.
Just 2.
Were those bids closed bids?
Oh, they were actually pretty close, yeah.
No, were they closed? In other words,
Oh, yeah.
sealed bids?
Oh, yeah, they were sealed bids.
And, all right. When and where were the bids opened?
Right here.
Was the public present when they were opened?
I don't think so.
Just the administration and the consultants were here. The suppliers weren't here.
And
The bid date was publicized, though.
Yes.
What?
The bid date was publicized.
yeah.
The bid was publicized?
The bid date, yes.
The bid date for the opening of the bids?
Yes.
That was publicized?
yes, it was public notice.
In the newspapers?
Yes.
How many members of the public attended the opening of the bids?
Not sure.
You were there were 5 of us here.
I think there were 5 people, 5, 6, I don't know.
And Pat Moran.
Yeah.
Not very many.
No.
Have any of the bidders, well, there were just 2 bidders,
Right.
one of whom is here in the room, successful bidder.
Yes.
So I'll just limit the question to the successful bidder in that case.
Okay.
Did the successful bidder make any political contributions either to state officials at the municipal level or to state officials at the federal level?
No, we did not.
And that's a matter of record, that you did not make any.
Well, I can tell you we don't.
Well, did you?
One of the no, I didn't, and we didn't as an organization that I'm aware of, but I think there's some affidavits we signed about political contributions and non-collusion.
So actually, Good Energy works for another public entity. It's called the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. It's the largest public purchasing co-op. We are their retained consultant. They entered into a consulting agreement with the city of New Brunswick. So this was actually a public-to-public bid governed by all the, purchasing laws and everything else. So the Ed Services Commission, which is in Piscataway, if you've heard of it, which has about all 529 municipalities are members and all the school districts, they were here to officiate this.
And the rate council oversees it.
And the Board of Public Utilities reviewed all the bid specs, reviewed the opt-out letters that we've received, reviewed everything. So this is all, this all goes through a process that starts before and then after, before you even got the information that you had.
So let me just answer your question, because I remember two of the documents that we submit as part of our qualification process, and it's certified affidavits, a non-collusion affidavit and a political contribution affidavit.
Right.
So we certify that and we send it in as part of qualifying to participate in the bid for this contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so there's you sign these affidavits, no collusion, no political contribution.
That's correct.
Okay. The reason for my question is that without knowing that, this whole project of the city entering into this suggested to me that this was just another racket worked by the politicians to feather their war chests. In other words, active contributions would be welcome in return for.
I think that's why those are required for that very reason.
All right. To date, how many accounts have opted out, to your knowledge?
The opt-out period ends June 19th, and so I don't have that with me. So I don't know how many we've received to date.
I think it's an ongoing process.
It is.
Yeah, okay. In other words, you don't bother to check the numbers until you know until the gate closes.
Exactly. But we track them, so we ensure that people who want to opt out are not included in the program. So, I mean, we administer that to ensure as they come in, we do keep track of that, and we make sure that people who opted out, who don't want to participate, we make sure that they're not enrolled in the program.
Right. Now, with the opt-out arrangement, this contract, I, by the way, have already opted out because I feel that PSE&G has already, made huge investments in its infrastructure, and these are costs that have to be covered. So I view, in effect, this as a rather disabling activity. Shopping for outside suppliers tends to disable the economic situation. But anyway, that's as it may be. As I say, I have opted out, and I have 4 accounts: 2 for my residence, which happens to be a 2-family house, which I live in as a family, and 2 for my residential property. Now, I didn't know whether my residential property was a business, considered as a business, and therefore would be opted out automatically, or whether, but to be on the safe side, since I got opt-out cards for all 4 accounts, I sent them all in as opt-out. In point of fact, would my rental property be regarded as a business and therefore be opt-out automatically?
Depends on the rate class. If they're a residential property, they would be considered part of the program.
I see. Okay, well. Now, I've opted out for this 17-month period. I would opt out for successive periods. But can I lock in my opt-out option in perpetuity, or do I have to keep opting out as new contracts come up?
Right, so you'll be put on a do not disturb list.
Do not disturb list. Okay.
So we know that there are actually north of 4 opt-outs in the city of New Brunswick.
Okay. Are third-party suppliers subject to regulation by the Board of Public Utilities in New Jersey?
Yes.
You're licensed in, yes.
Has this concept of having to opt out if you are a residential customer, otherwise you are automatically included, has that concept been challenged in law by, for example, the ACLU, of which I am a member?
Not that we know of.
Not that you know of. Okay. And not by any other legal entity? No. Okay. Not yet.
Not that we know of.
No. Okay. Okay. Is there a representative of the city of New Brunswick present at this meeting?
There are several of us here.
Who are the several?
I'm Brandon Goldberg, Assistant City
You
Administrator.
are who?
Brandon Goldberg, Assistant City Administrator.
Okay. And,
Susan Malika, mayoral aide.
oh, Susan Malika, okay. I think
He's
I
fine.
have spoken.
Yeah, Mr. Newling.
Yes.
He's
Okay. Oh, what is the supplier's rating with the Better Business Bureau?
I don't believe we are.
Not yet. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My question is, you said we can opt in and out,
Yes.
but I heard you say that we was already in the program from 2013. So,
No, you already, if you don't opt out right now, you'll be in the program. You can opt out at any time. And if you opt out, you can actually opt back in at some point too.
but we were already in it in 2013, so.
No.
Oh, okay.
About 50 programs in the state of New Jersey started in 2013. Now it's well over 100.
Several other programs that they help senior citizens and other ones that they already have. What happens to all those programs? Or are they considered, are they going to be transferred over to the direct energy also? Like they have more than one program.
What program are you talking about?
Like, if you have a high bill sometime, they have a
Equal payment
program
plan?
that will go ahead. and
Yes,
go
equal
like-
payment plan, which was asked already over here, that is part of this program. Or budget billing, as it's also known.
Okay, so all of that goes over to?
That's right.
Okay.
PSCNG does have programs with seniors who can afford their bills or their bills are too high, and so they have other types of options for them as well. Will those also be considered?
I don't know what those are.
I don't either. I'd have to understand which one you're speaking about.
I'm not sure of them exactly.
Yeah.
They may be on your local side of the bill too. You might be getting the discount there.
If you have a senior, you have issues with paying your bills, you know, they have programs where you can work, your income. Yeah, there were, problems. They have certain types of programming that.
The one we know of is equal payment plan, so you have rate stability. I don't know what those programs are. Sorry.
Give the discount after the bill.
We're here.
So if the bill is a certain amount, we still get the same.
We're new to New Jersey. We just got here 3 months ago and changed. But I don't know you guys yet. Some places, a couple of places are familiar. Maybe I've seen them on TV at some point.
Yeah, I'm a television actor, for God's sake.
But I just wonder if there's anyone from PSE and G in the panel, or is that empty chair supposed to be?
That's me.
That's his chair.
I can't sit down because there's so many questions. Thank you. Go ahead.
So just to piggyback off of one of the questions that the gentleman right here asked, this bulk rate, is that determined by the number of participants that are in the program?
Very good
Because
question.
if more people, so,
Opt out?
yes.
Oh,
How does that-
they're obligated to serve by the same rate no matter how many people opt
So
out.
that doesn't impact the rate?
Nope.
Okay,
That's their risk. It's a business risk. They took it.
okay. All right, thank you.
I have people that goes to Puerto Rican National Board and public service always set payments for them to help them with their utilities. Is your program the same way you would set that? Like we have people on low income can afford public services, sometimes Puerto Rican National Board come in and support them to help them pay their utilities. Does the energy also does the same thing?
I don't know what that program is.
Those are different programs, like you might have someone that come to us and might say, I can't pay my utility bill. And we would tell them to go to Puerto Rican National Board. They might.
Well, they would probably then just pay this bill anyway.
What they do, they might apply a certain amount of money to help bring the bill down.
Right.
Because you got seniors that.
You still just have a PSE&G bill, and you still have a supply rate. It just has a different name on it. So if they're already doing that,
Would your company also?
No, so they would be still doing it.
So we still go to?
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
You guys would not,
No.
even though we are in your program, and we need assistance on our energy, even though it's low, you're saying that if I go to that program or recommend someone there, you guys would set the payment to help them with their utility?
No,
The way I understand, excuse me, the way I understand it is those programs like LIHEAP, and then there was another one.
New Jersey Shares.
New Jersey Shares. Those programs are based on your bill, so it's not, so if you get a bill and if it reaches a certain amount, you get a deduction. So that's the same, when your bill, no matter how much you're paying for supply, when your bill reaches a certain amount, you qualify for a discount in those programs. So that works exactly the same.
Yeah, but would it work the same for direct energy? Because if we
Yeah,
have in here,
it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the end result of your bill, what your bill costs. And then these programs take into effect how much you're paying and how much you're earning, and then they discount it at the end. So it has nothing to do with the supply cost.
Oh, okay.
I think the whole problem here with the questioning is people are confused. They're thinking that you're getting two separate things and they're going, but it's all the same public service bill.
It'll look just the same.
If they run into problems like with not being able to pay, they go to Puerto Rican Action Board. You have people that are on Lifeline through the state.
Right.
So that's what their questions are about. And so they will continue to pay public service, they will continue to deal with public service representatives, and all the programs that people have been utilizing
That's correct.
will stay the same. And I think that's where the confusion is coming in.
I think if you wrap around your head around this concept where when you move into New Brunswick and you need power, you have a default. The default is PSE&G, right? You need to turn on power, you need your electrons coming in so you can turn on your lights, and that's what you get. So the way you think about this program is just a second default rate. The same rights that you would have if you were on with the utility, you have with this program, because the billing party is the same utility. So simply, just obviously we talked a lot about the different nuances of the program, but if you just think about it as a second default rate, and if you have a problem, it's the same 800 number, it's the same issues, and you can deal with your stuff, whether it's a tree limb that needs to get cut down, you got a problem with the meter, there's a brownout, there's a blackout, you still call PSE&G and they come and help you. And that's, the level of service you're gonna get is the same, except your rate, the line item is gonna be different and it's gonna be lower. And that's really it.
Just the rate's gonna be lower.
So when you said the rate of service will be the same, so if I'm in direct energy and she stays at PSNG on both things, and we call with an issue, will PSNG say?
It will be the same exact level of customer service for both individuals.
Okay.
Whether you're on the program or whether you're out of the program.
They won't prioritize them. Not at all.
Absolutely not.
If a new customer move into the area, where do they go? Do they go to public service to open an account, or
Yes,
where?
they go to public service to open an account, and they will receive, so you're in an opt-out period right now, they will also receive the opt-out letter, but they'll only be offered the rate for the amount of time that's left in the contract. So if there's 12 months left, they'll be offered that rate, and they'll have the same mechanism to opt out, and then if they don't, they'll do a direct energy.
And you mean when they go to public service asks them which one they want, or where?
They won't ask them anything. They'll enroll the account, and then Direct Energy will communicate, they communicate together, and Direct Energy will send that person an opt-out letter, and that person will get the same rate, but just not for 17 months, for whatever the remainder is. And when it gets too near the end of the program, we won't nobody will be there's 3 months, we're not gonna have a 3-month rate. Yes, sir.
So I have a question. Sorry, your name was Tom Charles?
Tom Chris and Charles.
I'm sorry. So I guess this is mostly directed at you, but also to the panel at large. In the letter that you all sent us, you had a part in there that said that if you are being solicited by any third-party energy companies, that we should contact you, the energy consultant, Good Energy, Direct Energy, directly about that. In the past 4 months, I know that I alone have received at least 4 solicitors from Direct Energy. Are those going to continue?
No.
Okay. So with that,
I can expand on that if you want.
sure.
So when we bid and we win a program, so we're in market outside of these programs. We're looking to serve electricity in many states. When we participate and we're awarded business from a city or townships, we're not going to go and market to that because now you're in a program. So we respect that and we're not going to market into that. So you're not going to get phone calls or mail or people knocking on your door with representatives from Direct.
Is that a promise?
Is it a promise? It's in the contract.
Only Direct Energy, you can't promise other companies that are coming to call you, that's gonna still happen. Just to be clear, that will still happen, it just won't be Direct Energy.
Going off of that though, you included in the letter that we should contact you if there are other third parties trying to solicit to us.
No, we
So
said beware of third parties that try to.
it specifically says to contact you if we are solicited.
Well, there's also
If you'd
another-
like clarification of the program, and if you want to know if that's our program, by all means do contact us and we can tell you if that's our program or if that's another third-party program that's out there.
The easiest way to think of this, because what happens sometimes with these programs, is that someone will come and represent that they are the city's program. If you have to sign something, this is not the city's program, because the city's program is automatic unless you opt out. And if someone does come and represent, then call City Hall, they'll call the police.
Right, and we will never ask you to see your, I know a lot of these third-party companies go door to door and they ask to see your energy bill. That's not us.
Yeah, and every one of these opt-out letters will have the city's seal on it. Won't be some other energy company. It'll be the opt-out letter with the city seal.
That's right.
Any
They
more questions?
stop coming around, they call you on the phone.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that does generally happen, to the extent that they understand that the whole community is being switched, direct marketers, like foot traffic, that should slow down. Because it's really hard to market, first of all, against this rate. So they would have to be trying to sell you something confusing, like here's some airline miles and a credit card, and a 3-month rate that's a little better than the city's rate, but after 3 months it goes to 20 times that. You know, very, very careful. So this protects the community from that. Any other questions?
So we have resources, renewableNB.com is a resource, you can always go there for information. You could always call the mayor's office and ask for me, I'm Susan Malika, and I will gladly field any questions that you have as they come up.
I just want to say, again, on behalf of the city of New Brunswick, myself, Susan, Brandon, my name is Jennifer, this is Steve Jones, is also the mayor's office. This is an ongoing thing that we're going to keep talking about. We want to get education out to as many people as possible. If you have questions, certainly utilize the numbers that are on the information that you've received. If you have questions a little more specific to the city, you can certainly call us in the mayor's office and talk to you about that. Please keep your lines of communication open. If you have neighbors that couldn't be here tonight and want to know more, they can certainly reach out. We'd like to keep educating as many people as possible on this. If you don't have your letter, if you misplaced your letter,
We have copies here.
copies up here.
If you want it in Spanish, it's available.
Great, thank you.
Thanks very much.